Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, so what are some of the, if I'm a guy and I'm browsing Career Jungle, what would draw me to maybe doing that bubble course, that boot camp that you did?
Yeah. One, there's a shortage of bubble developers.
So what's a
Like
bubble developer? 'Cause I've
a
never
bubble
heard of that.
developer is someone who builds on Bubble. So Bubble is no code, and the whole idea is like democratizing software creation. But the truth is you need to learn all the concepts of code, how to structure a database, how to really design UX, all these things that go into websites. You need to know that, or you need to work with people who do that. And so essentially what happened is now there's Bubble developers, and there are people who just build on Bubble for other
Mhm.
people. So like Bubble agencies, and then there's coaching, I know is a huge market, and then just developers, like people
Okay.
hire
Did you
Bubble
say
developers.
coaching?
Yeah, Bubble coaching,
Okay,
because
what's a
it's
bubble coach?
because it's so hard to build on Bubble, because you're starting from like a blank canvas. If you get stuck or you need a debug or things like that, people get stuck a lot on Bubble, and they'll hire somebody for an hour to just help them get through their issue.
Okay,
And that's
that's
huge.
interesting.
Like Bubble just opened up their own coaching marketplace, and there's so much demand, like it's crashing and it doesn't
So
really work well.
if you're writing some sort of a software on Bubble and you get stuck because you can't Google it as much, you would go to a coach and he or she would help you solve it.
Yeah, essentially. Or you just may want to plan out your database and discuss it with someone. I'm not so familiar because I didn't do it, but I know like Bubble released their coaching platform and they're booked for like months ahead of time. But Bubble is very selective on who they chose, who can be a coach. But yeah, essentially you can do that. You can get unstuck. You can, yeah, plan whatever you want. There's so many things. You can talk about UX or UI. You can APIs is like a very hard thing in Bubble. So that's something that people I'm sure a lot talk about. That's a whole topic in its own. And the prices range from like 150 to 250 an hour. So it's a very lucrative uh, job. And there's very
Okay.
few Bubble experts because it's such a new platform. And yeah, so you can become a Bubble coach, a Bubble developer. And so I just got an inquiry on LinkedIn for a Bubble developer job. And then you can become a freelancer or you can start your own agency. There are so many people who started companies, they didn't work out and they started agencies, and it's just growing like crazy because it's so open-ended and people are like, oh, and I want to go back. The reason it's so much better if you can just hire, you can hire a code agency or a Bubble agency, is that Bubble agencies are going to be like 5x cheaper. It depends which agency. Some of them may be the same price, but they'll also be like 10x faster. So 5x cheaper, 10x faster, and easier to customize. And so that's why a lot of people are choosing like Bubble or Bubble agencies instead of code agencies or dev
Okay.
agencies. So yeah, that's that's just one platform. I'm just talking about Bubble. It's like it's still a very niche platform, still in its early days, but that's just one example of what's going on. And I just want to mention another platform, Webflow, which is way larger and way more used than Bubble, which is more of a design focused no code platform. And there you can do a little bit more than Wix, but really you could build like beautiful customizable websites. And they have really such a whole ecosystem of agencies. And a lot of companies, like tons of companies, large ones, even large startups are moving their landing pages to Webflow because you can create these like beautiful websites, and they have also a massive ecosystem of agencies, way larger than Bubble, from what I know.
Okay.
And so that's one set of careers in like no code, and that's like in the web dev side. So that's like if you want to be in a no code in the web development area, it's really Webflow and Bubble are the largest, and there's like obviously hundreds and thousands more. But yeah, that's one area.